Like you said, runners from around the country and world will gather in Sioux Falls this weekend for the annual Sioux Falls Marathon. We have a runner of our very own here at Dakota News Now participating in the race, Tyler Roney.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Talking about a lot of fun today.
Yeah, let's talk about what you're going to be running, because there's little options, so talk about that.
So you have all sorts of options on Sunday, and this is going to be my first time doing any sort of the Sioux Falls Marathon brand, right? You have the 5K, you have the 10K, you have the half marathon, you have the full marathon. I'm going to try to do the half marathon. That's the goal here, because I've ran a lot the last several years, but never competitively, nothing like that. And so I thought this would be kind of a good challenge to try to do a half.
Yeah, and half marathon is a big feat. You know,
Yeah.
talk about kind of what you've been doing to train for that and the process for that.
You know, I've always had an interest in running. I know I'm one of those weirdos. I catch flack from everybody at work. Going, why do you run? Like that's miserable. What do you do that for? No, but it's good. It's a good form of exercise, you know, and it's especially this time of year. I know it's hard to kind of avoid the humidity and that sort of thing, but it is good to be outside. And so, you know, a lot of training, just, you know, in general, just trying to run every single day as much as possible, not trying to, you know, overdo it or anything like that. But it's as you get closer, you start to add more of those miles. And so just this past weekend, my girlfriend and I ran 11 miles, and it's like, wow, that's a lot. Yeah. So it also helps to have like accountability, right? To have like a good, almost like a training partner to help keep you with those miles. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and talk about kind of that excitement building up too, because I'm sure you're, you know, getting maybe those jitters, a little bit of those like pre-running nerves.
Yeah, well, and it's nice that it's in the morning. That helps, not only obviously with the weather, but just in general. I mean, I am so pumped for this, because there's a difference between going out and, like, you know this. I mean, just going out and running. You know, you did the Avera 5K.
Yep.
You saw how much fun that was.
It was fun. It wasn't easy. Half marathon's a lot different too.
You're right. I mean, but like, there's the vibes are so high.
Yes.
It's so cool, and I think that's what's going to help not only me, but I think a lot of the runners get through this for sure.
Yeah, and talk about kind of the day and, you know, what people can maybe expect if they want to go out and watch.
Yeah, so you know, there's going to be an option for spectators, which is going to be a lot of fun. But just in general, it's one of those cases where I guess if you're going to be participating, you know, start to think ahead, because we're going to have a southerly wind. It's going to be like around 10 miles an hour. Not great, you know, it could be worse, but it is going to be muggy. You know, that's certainly one thing too you're going to want to keep in mind. And I guess, you know, we've heard people talk about this too. I'm not a doctor, but I can at least tell you as someone that runs, just like listen to your body. That's a big deal. You don't want to overdo it, especially on days like this where it is going to be really hot and muggy.
Yeah. How exciting is it too for you? Have you ran a half marathon before anywhere else, or is this your first half marathon?
I've never done a half before.
Okay.
I've done 5Ks and 10Ks.
Okay.
But I've never done a half before, and you know, it helps. Dating someone that's a former college athlete makes a big difference, you know, that ran and stuff. And that really helps me to kind of, you know, learn what I can and can't do as far as running goes.
And why do you think, you know, Sioux Falls Marathon is going to be just the perfect time to try this? It's a great race here.
Great race here. And, you know, because there are so many races all over the Midwest to do and whatnot. But, you know, just to be right in Sioux Falls, that makes the biggest difference, I think. And that's going to be so much fun to just, it's right in our backyard. And we're sponsoring it. It's all going to a good cause too.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for being here, Tyler.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
it. And we'll be back after the break.